What's going on? This is the Broke Genius, and welcome to the life of a broke genius. Welcome to my channel.
What's going on? I finally made it back to the lab where the Wi-Fi is pretty decent. I was trying to get the beautiful footage of the skyline of downtown Chicago, but had some technical difficulties. Uh, but nonetheless, this is another episode of Kaizen talk. Don't really have any particular stream of talking points, but I'll just go off of what I was saying earlier. Basically, almost done with the mechanicals in the house. Probably gonna get some drywall next week and some flooring. Finish things on out, and basically get things together. I was uh, I was just thinking about you know what I was saying earlier, which is a few reasons why women have problems, just kind of staying married or staying with the relationship with the man. And a couple of the reasons I'm sure I've stated before, but the main reason is that a lot of women today, when they were young, from the time that they were a baby to an infant to, uh, by the time they became a teenager, they were just not domesticated around men. They weren't around men, and they don't know how to basically socialize around men. Basically, they don't really understand how to shut their mouth. Don't really understand, how to just kind of just go with the flow because they just wasn't domesticated to do so. And then a lot of times, uh, many cases they learn from their mother. A lot of times, I'll have to tell you, I've listened to quite a few people, listened to some people today, and yeah, I could tell you pretty much. I don't necessarily say that there's no hope. I mean, you can't, for someone that has been divorced or someone that pretty much had a failed relationship. I could tell you that it's not so much that I can't. I don't see myself not being able to get in a positive relationship, a successful relationship, or even long term relationship. I mean, I know I'm getting older in life, but I mean, it ain't necessarily. I'm not giving up hope, but the thing is, I know how to kind of vet better than I did before. I mean, basically, that's the solution right there. It's like how you pick, and when it comes down to women, uh, when you look at how their mother are, 9 times out of 10, the woman is gonna pretty much mirror her mother. I know people that their mom was on crack. They uh didn't hold a successful relationship with any man long term, including the father. What's going on, Iori? Uh, you just can't pretty much uh you know go past that mother. I mean, when you look at how her mother is, and you're trying to vet this woman to see if she's somebody long term for you, pay attention to why is her mother single? Has her mother ever been married? How long has her mother been able to, keep a relationship? A lot of times it's hard for women to break that mold. There are some women that have broke that mold. I mean, shout out to the Crimson Cure. I mean, she's trying her hardest. I mean, I've watched her over the years. She talks about her mother and how she's trying to break the mold, and she knows that her mother doesn't really know a lot about relationships. And I mean, she's trying her hardest to break that mold and deal with some man long term, but she has her struggles. But the thing is that, like I said, it's very difficult uh to basically for a woman to separate from her mother uh as far as her failed relationships, and a lot of times even her bad advice. Women will take that advice and basically it's almost like a curse. They'll take the advice from their mother that never been married, never had a long-term relationship longer than 4 years or 5 years, and they'll basically just you know take it all the way to the grave and realize, damn, their mama sent them off their whole entire life, mainly probably even because she didn't want her to be in a successful relationship. So you got some women that even their mama, they'll send their daughter off because it's a one up. If their daughter is married and then they're not, the mother is not married and the daughter is married, you know how embarrassing that is for a woman to for a grandmother to come around her grandkids, come around any family events, and her her daughter is married, happily married, ring and all, and she's not. She's coming dried in a god doggone uh oatmeal raisin crisp from Little Debbie's, coming in the door, ain't no man in sight, and she's got one foot halfway in the grave and the other outside the grave, and she looking at you happier than all get out, kids right there, husband, right there taking care of everything. I mean, it you gotta it's human nature. You gotta understand. People get jealous. Even parents get jealous of their kids, believe it or not. And you gotta understand there's some women out there that they literally are jealous of their own daughters. And some take it to a certain level where it's treacherous because, like I said, they will um they will literally send their daughter off if that woman is not wise enough to understand her mother is not to be taken uh her insight is not to be taken for a grain of salt because she is not someone that has been in a relationship long term, never been married long term, or even married at all. A lot of women, they're not able to, like, Crimson Cure, separate that woman that pretty much birthed them into this world and take her advice and just kind of throw it in the trash can, because a lot of women, their mirror of what a woman is their mother, and that's pretty much what shapes their entire life. And her example is something that they literally walk outside the door and mirror, and that's a big, huge reason why a lot of women are not able to kind of sustain relationships and keep relationships. It's downright it goes into even finances. A lot of what I talk about is finances, but you know I'm definitely talking about relationships now, but primarily women that can't maintain relationships for a long period of time. And that's because it's just like finances. I mean, if your parents were poor, a lot of times you mirror your parents. So if your parents were middle class, you'd be hard pressed to you know break that mold and get out of middle class and become upper class, because you just get inundated with, like for example, my parents. I pretty much came from, I would just say, a lower middle class household. Uh, Most of my friends, that's what they were, from. Or some of my friends, they parents were kind of working class. So I've been inundated with working class people and middle class people my entire life. A lot of times you get kind of like tunnel vision into really like basically thinking, okay, being mediocre, being middle class, is nothing wrong with that. When absolutely it is. Because when you think about all you got to do is watch read the Forbes list. You ain't even got to read the Forbes list. Person that got $1 million in a bank account is, consistently is outside of the middle class, or is outside of the middle class technically. And middle class now is what, $50,000 a year on average. I mean, it's just 50,000 compared to 1 million is a different, totally different category. But like I say, I mean, don't take my word for it. I've already researched that. Most of people, they live about 20 miles from where they were born, and statistically, you pretty much kind of mirror what your parents' financial class was. So if your parents are middle class, typically you'll be middle class. Um, you know, even worse, a lot of people, they have intergenerational poverty. Their parents grew up in poverty, and then they pretty much are in poverty right now, because they watch their parents kind of be in poverty. A lot of their friends was, dealing with poverty, and even abject poverty. In case you don't know what abject poverty is, it means basically you in poverty, but it's like, okay, the poverty scale is like 0 to $14,000 a year. You can literally, 14 grand, household of one. For a household of two, is like $22,000 a year. That's poverty. Abject poverty is like, you don't make 20,000 or 14,000. You're making like $3,000 a year or $5,000 a year, which that would mean that you're not even working a minimum wage job. You just kind of getting by, probably in system D, meaning like you do odd jobs here and there to make a living. So you got people that their parents literally, they grew up in abject poverty. They had to live in a house in a bando. It wasn't never fixed up. It was literally, they grew up in a bando. Like, never was nothing fixed, or might have been times they had gas, might have been times they had electricity. Sometimes they might have had some water. I mean, basically Floyd Mayweather, that's how he lived. He grew up. He grew up in a household like that, where it was times they didn't have electricity, like long periods, long stretches of time. 2 Chainz, he pretty much, a lot of his friends used to come over, and he would say the bathroom was basically didn't work or something, because he didn't want to explain why the water was off to his friends. So he would just say the bathroom was broke. So yeah, it's rough, man. But those guys obviously are the exception to the rule. They went from poverty to upper class, but most people, that's not how that goes. And just going back to women in relationships, they typically mirror their mother. As far as, their mom was a feisty Stragg that argued with men, even in some cases fight men, get into physical altercations with men. They grow up mirroring that same behavior. And obviously that keeps them to a situation where they constantly have to find somebody else that will deal with that crap, because most men won't deal with that. And then ultimately, the older they get, the looks fade, and less, men that are gonna pretty much deal with that, and to the point where they can't it's like they become a VCR. You know, have you ever? When was the last time you tried to go buy a VCR? Okay, I'll wait. That's literally how that goes. I mean, the best person to explain that I've heard was Dr. Tiason Johnson. He got a slideshow that he pretty much breaks down the different subtypes of women. And you got women that when they get older, they actually become a bitter old crone, meaning they just are bitter. They done went through the whole phase of just becoming a strag to being old. And the older they get, it's like the lady that yells at kids playing on her lawn and stuff like that. Yeah, the old crone. So I mean, the thing is that a lot of those things, a lot of guys, they overlook it. They don't kind of see it until it's hindsight, or they just think it's normal. Because a lot of guys, they just want comfort. A lot of guys want in-house vagina. So they thinking they winning because they got a woman, i.e., inside their house, that's in-house vagina, and not looking at the fact that they got to deal with all of the negativity. You got men that don't even want to come home because they got to deal with all of the negativity. As soon as they get in the door, it's arguments, it's even physical altercations. I mean, that's real, you know. And the thing about it is, some guys, like I say, they don't never realize it. They don't even leave. They deal with that today, go to that early grave. And it's all because they a lot of the older people, they were just taught to stick it out. If you made your bed, you lay in it. A lot of the younger people, they don't have that concept. I mean, I kind of had some of that concept, but I didn't. I definitely wasn't trying to go, uh, to no grave or nowhere near it, dealing with that. And I've definitely dealt with it before. I mean, and the thing about it is, I was basically one that I'll say I definitely know how to screen better. I understand a lot more on the social dynamic, why women just can't keep a guy. They can't keep anybody. And the thing about it is, another aspect of why women, and I talked about this earlier, but I just, like I said, I was having technical difficulties. Another reason that women can't keep a man, I actually, I call it the educated fool or the intelligent fool. You got women that actually, they believe men are just basically dumb creatures that you just got to get what you want out of them, and that's it. You know, whatever you got to do to get what you need out of them, you do it, and that's it. And then, basically, they are educated. They're very well employed, and they can't keep a guy because it's kind of like they think that they are intelligent, but they're not. They're actually a fool. It's like, for example, it's like, okay, it's like me saying, it's like if basically I come off, if let's just say if I came off like I was rich, like let's just say I was all cap, my whole channel was all cap. I'm not the broke genius, but I call myself the rich genius. You know, I call myself the rich genius, but I'm not actually rich. I'm actually broke as hell. So I go what do what most people do. I go get let's see, I go get a Hellcat. I go get a Hellcat or a Audi, brand new Audi, and then I go get a car note. I go get a car note, and then I get some type of credit line or whatever. So I go get a house. Then I go get some expensive house that's in a, kind of like a well-to-do neighborhood. And I'm paying through the teeth for all of this. Then I'm just showing all of this, right? But I'm not showing you my mortgage bill that's like high as a kite. It's like almost $2,000 a month, over 2,000, almost to $3,000 a month. Because I got this like mini mansion or whatever. And I got this like brand new Audi truck that I'm paying $1,200 for. So I'm paying through my eyeballs to look rich. And my channel's called Rich Genius, but I'm actually broke as hell. If I lose my job tomorrow, all of everything just comes crashing down. Right? I mean, basically, that's what a lot of women do. They are intelligent fools. And I'm definitely going to zero down on this because this is actually something, this is like an aha moment because you got a lot of people that actually act like this. And a lot of women, this is another reason why they can't keep a man because it's kind of like a mental illness, but it's not. It's kind of like, I guess what you would call it is delusion of grandeur. It's basically, it's kind of like, basically someone that thinks they're more of a higher position than what they actually are. That's why you got a lot of these people talking about kings and queens and shit. Hey, king, what's up, queen? I'm a queen, I'm a king. The thing is that these people don't own no land. They ain't got no kingdom or queendom, right? Because a queen basically she and then here's another thing. They ain't got no fucking man. They don't like you can okay, for you to be a queen, there's only two options you have. You be a queen because you're married to a king, or you're a queen, which means you have your own kingdom, like the Queen of Elizabeth in Britain, UK. These women live in an apartment talking about I'm a queen, you know, peace king, like, and then they don't even have a man. They don't have a man. They got a pot to piss in and a window to throw it out, and they don't have basically any type of they live in an apartment. They don't have no kingdom. They don't have no land. They don't have nothing to call to start no kingdom. Okay, so at least be close to it. Yeah, I call myself king and all that, but shit, I damn near I'll show you. I'll show you. When everything is said and done, I got a whole fucking block. I got an entire block. I shit you not. And it's like, I mean, I ain't bragging, but I said it before, I got a fucking block. But I ain't necessarily I try to be careful with that whole king talk, because you got to be really careful with that. But what I'm saying is that you have these people, these intelligent fools that basically it's a delusion of grandeur. They basically delusional to think that they're higher than what they are, and that's why you have these women with these degrees and everything. They got a PhD, master's degree, bachelor's degree, but ain't a man nowhere in sight. You can go pass tests, go class, take tests, write 10-page papers, 15-page paper, 20-page papers, 5-page papers with, structure format, AMA format, and I forgot the other format. You do all these things, but you can't keep a man happy. You could, man, to me, going to college was very, very tough. But these women can go to college and get a degree, advanced degree. They can't, a lot of them can't keep a man happy. They can't get a man to basically, they can't keep a man because, see, the thing about it is, yeah, you can go to college, you can do all of these different tasks, right, to get a degree. But a man is a human with feelings and emotions, and all of these things will come with being a human. It's not that cut and dry that you do all of these things and this man is going to be happy. First of all, you got to know how to pick a man. And then, yeah, a man, he'll pretend like he doesn't, like he's okay with you screaming and yelling. He'll pretend for a minute that, oh, okay, I'm going to stay right here. Yelling at him, you know, making side remarks about him, and all these other things, and you know, talking, shit and all this other stuff, and not giving them any sex, making them feel like a little boy and all this shit. He'll pretend for a minute, but then after a while, he can't pretend anymore, and he's got to go. It's either a big breakup, big breakup and fight, whatever, and he's out the door. It's no longer anything that could be reconciled. Now it's time for you to get another dude. You got a monkey branch to somebody else, and the same process goes. And then he leaves the relationship, and then you're wondering what it is. And a lot of women don't realize or don't want to realize it's them because they gotta work on them. And the thing about it is, this is where it goes into mental illness. It goes back into, because they're intelligent fool, they don't realize that they're a fool. Well, they do realize they're a fool, but they don't want to talk about it, and they don't want nobody else to know that they're a fool. But it's really deeper. When you say delusions of grandeur, when you call somebody delusional, it's very, very offensive. When you call somebody a fool, it's offensive too. But when you call somebody delusional, that word is it goes into the realm of mental illness, because you're basically telling someone that their mind is not in reality, therefore their mind is in fantasy, meaning, someone is in a nut house that is just daydreaming, but they're not in the nut house. But you telling them, basically, when you go up to somebody and say you delusional, basically what you're saying is you need to go to a mental health clinic and go get checked out because you're not thinking properly. But those are fighting words. Fool and delusional, both fighting words. But when you say delusional, people know what you're talking about. They'll say, a woman will say, "What are you calling me, crazy?" And then if you say that, then she might be ready to fight you then, because that's exactly what you're saying. And the thing about it is, the delusion. This happens a lot of times, even when you play somebody in chess. When someone thinks their position is higher than what they actually have, they can quickly lose. This happens to even me. I think that my position is strong, and I get grandiose, which meaning higher than than oneself. Basically, I end up losing the game because you get a sense of thinking that you can't be beat and that you're so higher than what you actually are, or whatever. And then there you go, you lose the game. And that's pretty much what a lot of women do in society now. They actually, because of the 100K job or 80K job, the degree, they think that equates to them being better or whatever, grandeur, to the point where they're so grand that they think that they're just better than most men, or if not all men. So therefore, being a woman that submits to a man, or even just, for example, what I was talking about earlier before I had the technical difficulties. In most cases, once everything settles and the paint dries and everything like that, I have a certain level, even now, not even some paint dry. I have the ability to basically pay for a place to live, bills and all, where a woman don't have to do nothing but just basically take it all in. She could just, all she had to do was cook and clean and, obviously do the laundry, just basic shit. She don't have to do anything, right? But a lot of times, like I say, this goes into the intelligent fools and the delusions of grandeur. A lot of women, they just can't deal with that. Even if it's a man that has more than what I have, they and then this also goes into a trust aspect. A lot of women don't trust men because they've been hurt or whatever before, and they lump all men into one category. And the thing is, this is where trust comes in. And a lot of women that have trust issues like that, they know why they have trust issues, because what I mean by trust is they're not able to take that lifestyle of being a housewife and just basically, yeah, or even just you work or whatever, and then you come home, you don't talk shit. I'm the boss. I know you got a boss at your other, job, but I am the boss. And you could keep your money. You kick down what's needed, but you keep most of your motherfucking money. And I'm the boss. When you come home, you also have a boss. A lot of women, they're not able to deal with that, because most women work. You know, they're not able to deal with that dichotomy. Especially black women. They got a job. They know they can go do whatever they need to do, get a hotel room, get some money, go get an apartment real quick, whatever, go live with friends till they can find a place, all this other stuff. Because at the end of the day, they want to come home and talk shit and argue and fuss and fight about your decision making and all this other stuff. And it comes down to it, they don't know how to just sit back and then go with the flow. Like I say, because a lot of the women nowadays that grew up without a father, even if they had a father, they wanna be, so high and mighty. They don't know how to just sit back and just let the man make the decisions, and like, for example, I'm a chess player. Back to the deal that I say, a woman don't have to do nothing, even making decisions. I mean, some decisions are very difficult to make. It's hard to make decisions, right? She didn't even have to make any decisions. I make all the decisions. She might have some input into it, yeah, but I make most of the decisions, because at the end of the day, who is better at making the decisions than me? I mean, she can't beat me in chess. Most people can't beat me in chess. I mean, I'm not saying I'm the best chess player, but my decision making skills are very ample. In at the end of the day, until you can beat me in chess and whoop my ass, you ain't making no better decisions than I'm gonna make. So you ain't even got to worry about that. You don't even have to use that much effort. So all you have to do is just sit back and let me make all the moves. At the end of the day, a lot of women are not. They don't have the trust. They have so much trust issues. Like I said, because they've been broke. You know, their trust has been broken by other guys and stuff like that in their past. They're not able to just sit back and let a guy make all of those moves, and they just sit back and just soak everything all in. It just, that's where the dichotomy comes, to where they just constantly have to go from a relationship to a relationship to, it's to a point where they can't even really get no relationship, because they getting older, you know turn into a raisinette and shit like that. Then nobody really wants them. Then they get bitter and all of that type of stuff. So it's like it's a cycle that is just getting bigger and bigger, you know. And the thing about it is that's really what it comes down to, why a lot of women are just not able to keep a relationship with the man. I mean, you could just rewind this back. If I'm wrong, let me know, because I know I'm not wrong, because I've seen it my entire life. You know, it is some women that do get that do understand it. You know, like I say, I call those women prime women. A lot of those women that are prime women, you see them with a wedding ring on their finger. And that at least lets you know that somebody thought enough to marry this woman because she was a catch. You know, she was a good catch. You know, she knows how to shut the hell up when she comes home. She works, but when she comes home, she knows stuff is taken care of. You know, was vulnerable enough to, you know, and intelligent enough to choose the right man, you know, and stuff is taken care of. You know, she might have to, you know, do some extra stuff because she works, and then she, you know, come home, she got to take care of the kids and all this other stuff. But, you know, she knows enough to just basically deal with all of that shit and not drive her fucking man up the fucking wall, you know, and just kind of deal with peace in the house, provide some type of peace in the house, and then look decent in the process and all other stuff. I mean, it's like some women there, they do know how to balance that. They do know how to deal with all of that, you know. And I have to admit, when it comes to mine, you know, and I'll just have to say, I don't really know. I don't know how. I think her name is. Yeah, I think it's concrete. No, it's Sister George. It's Sister George. As far as what I know, what she said, she works. She gives all her money to her husband. A lot of women don't do that, and I think that's a good idea. I mean, I would say that would be something that I'll probably be okay with, because a lot of times women, they don't really manage their money well. You know, they get emotional. They want to buy clothes that they got, you know, tags on. They haven't even wore. They got clothes in their closet, shoes in their closet. They might have wore once or twice. They got purses that they got, you know, 2 3 years ago, but they don't wear no more because they got a new purse, and they got a whole bunch of purses that's like that. You know, they got clothes in the drawer that they haven't worn before, and they don't really know how to sell clothes and stuff like that. And just a lot of bullshit. They're just wasting money. Whereas, you know, you get an allowance, you can get whatever you need, and all the bills are paid, investments are done, you know, because you got a man that knows how to take care of business. I'll be honest, that's the best way to deal with that whole, like, I'll still work, and then I'll basically have two bosses, you know, or two masters. You know, I work, I have a job, I have a boss at my job, but then my husband is also the boss. Well, I basically, you know, and shout out to Sister George. You know, I know I talk shit, but, you know, I mean, basically last year, I mean, you know, she sealed the deal. You know, I thought at first she was just going, you know, kind of just be this be a permanent fiance, because you got women that's just basically being fiancés for like 5 10 years. You know, but you know, I ain't gonna go into all of that. But the thing is, you know, that's the best way to deal with that. That's the you make your boss at work the underboss, and then you make your husband the big boss. And that means you give your money that you make from your underboss to your you know, your husband, and then he manages everything and you get an allowance. I mean, here's the thing. You ain't got a one for nothing. Everything is taken care of. Everything is managed. But here's the thing. Most women have deep embedded trust issues. They won't be able to do that. They don't even know how to deal with even a 50-50 relationship, let alone a guy that's 100%. I mean, obviously the man, her husband has to be 100% to pay all the bills, and then, she puts her money up, and you know, I mean, I don't know their business financially, but I mean, if I had the dynamic of my wife giving me all the money, which I would definitely, that would be the ideal situation. She give me all of the money. I would be paying all of the bills, but her money would be just a bonus. And then of course she gets her weekly allowance or whatever. And that's that. Because that's a situation where she not spending all her money and throwing it up in the, betting on black and red every week. Is going towards, where the money should be going. And she understands that, you know, yeah, I got a job. I do have two masters. I have one master that I'm working for. Then I got another master at home. But she don't like what a lot of women do. They put one master above the other. They put their job above their man. And a lot of times, here's the thing, you know, I see people in and out. What's going on, Iori? What's going on, DeVito? You know, um, he says, "What step am I on right now? I'm putting everything towards my house, so I'll probably be done fixing everything on this house. I want to say by probably the end of the summer. So let's just say August. This house would have a retail ARV of at least about 60 to 50 something $1,000. And I mean, along with all of the other assets and stuff, but I really don't count that. I don't really necessarily count my house, but I will. Um, shoot, I'll probably be let's see. I gotta look at my brand. I mean my pictures. Let's see. Do I have my that millionaire oh yeah, I got it. So I'll be on step 7. So I definitely plan on getting my Porsche truck, and I'll be probably catching a flight to Africa. I know I have it set to 2023 to go to Africa. Um I'll probably be able to make that timeline for sure. So about September 2023, yeah, definitely. Hopefully I can even get past that, because I definitely want to start a restaurant. So yeah, after this house is fixed up, it'll be definitely paid off. Only got like 2 grand left to pay on it. Uh, yeah, I'll probably be at about step 7. But here's the deal. I got debts. I got student loan debt. So I don't really count that. The house is leveraged to pay the student loans. So really what my plan is not even, I'm not really looking at it like that. I'm trying to I'm actually trying to get another house. I'm trying to get like 3 houses, like two or three, I mean, basically 2 more houses in the house that I have, because I'm trying to leverage one of these so I can become debt free, you know. Um don't really like I I mean, he's all right. Savings minus debt, man. He's all right. I ain't no hater or nothing, but I mean, he just kind of, the way he comes off and stuff is like an asshole and like a prick to me, to be honest. But I hate my debt more than I hate him. But what he says, is really, really true. I mean, whatever and it's stuff that I say. Whatever debts you have, you don't have anything until you're debt free. I wish more people understood that. I definitely do. You know, once you become in the black and out of the red, which meaning you owe uh more than what you actually have as far as assets or even liquid cash, basically you don't have really nothing because I mean temporarily it's an offset, and that's what I'm trying to do. That's basically what he talks about. Dave Ramsey. A lot of stuff is actually coming out about Dave Ramsey and his organization. From the reports is very toxic work environment. And the thing about it is, my philosophy is similar to Dave Ramsey, but no, not similar. My philosophy is more offset related. I'm trying to basically offset using investment in business ideas to offset the debt. If you even have debt, like you following the MSP, you're basically trying to. That's why I always talk about investing, because you're trying to offset. If you have debt, you're trying to offset it by making more money, more capital. You're trying to offset that debt, and then also ultimately pay off more, because the more you're gonna have as far as liquid capital, the more you can pay towards your debts as well. What Dave Ramsey talks about, and then obviously savings minus debt, you don't have any money. And you should put everything towards paying your debts off. Well, here's the thing. If you owe Pookie and Ray Ray 50 grand, you best pay Pookie and Ray Ray 50 grand, because they gonna give you a bullet sandwich if you don't give them their money. Give them their money. If you owe whatever you owe, personal debts, you want to pay that off, because those are serious. But unfortunately or fortunately, I don't owe Pookie and Ray Ray anything, or any personal debts. I don't have any personal debts, so I owe anything. And people owe me money. And the thing about it is, um, as far as student loans, that's the only thing I really have. I got like a couple collections, but the thing is those companies, and definitely the United States government Department of Education, they're okay. I mean, they worse than actually Pookie and Ray Ray, because the interest that they're charging is through the roof. Pookie and Ray Ray just want at the most they want points. Probably they want $55,000. Well, I can tell you, the money that I owe for my Department of Education student loan is $58,000 at this time. I didn't take out $58,000 in no damn student loans. That's probably about $10,000 to $15,000 of that is interest, or probably even more than that, because I calculated that probably only had about a little over $40,000 in actual student loan debt that I took out. Most of that $58,000, it jumped up because of interest. So yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna borrow $35,000 from Pookie and Ray Ray, and then they talking about I gotta pay them 50. At the most, they're gonna want probably 40 to at most $40,000. Because why would I even ask for any money for like way more than what I would have to pay back? So it's like, yeah, they even worse, because they got the interest on there. But the thing is that, yeah, you do want to pay that off. You just my whole thing is leveraging through investments. That's basically what I'm doing. You know, taking 3 greenhouses, a red hotel, leveraging them to get to whatever debt I have, paying them off. I ain't talking about getting no mortgage. I'm This is all cash. Okay, I don't have any mortgage on my house. You know, all of these things are leverage actions investments so I can ultimately get higher up these steps so I can get out of debt. So I can, if I ideally, you can really kick ass with the millionaire savings plan. Shout out to the people that don't have no debt, or they don't have hardly any debt whatsoever. You can just kick ass because you don't have that debt. You can just, the chapters in my book, the millionaire savings plan, that I talk about paying off debt. Well, what about you if you ain't got no debt? You can just kick ass because, let's say, for example, I have no debt. Whatever I sold my house or whatever, that's liquid capital that I can take to go buy more houses, and then I'll just get higher up these steps even faster. Unfortunately for me, because I have debt, I do have to get out of debt. So I might have to sell this house and ultimately transition to another house and do the same process over again. And then the next house I get will be even better because I'll be debt free. I won't have that debt anymore. So yeah, I mean, that's where I'm at, man. The thing is that it's a process, but my process, I think, is a lot better. I tried the Dave Ramsey process, and his process of being a beggar bond slave and just paying off all your debt. I get it. I understand. If you can do it, if that's what you ultimately want to do, you want to take a vow of starvation or minimalism to pay off your debt. Ultimately, yes. I wish everyone their best at that. But unfortunately, the U.S. government doesn't operate like that, nor do I. So I ain't necessarily operating like the U.S. government, leveraging myself with more debt. But the thing is that I'm definitely investing to pay off the debts that I have, and over time paying on the debts. I mean, the more I make, the more I pay off, and that's it. I mean, it's pretty much this. The only difference with my system and Dave Ramsey's system is he wants you to just go right into a big ass giant snowball. I just want you to pay the snowball and just keep saving money. So you're still paying your debts off monthly or whatever, but you also saving at the same time cash and investing that to get higher up the steps, ultimately while paying your debts off. I mean, so that's pretty much it. But back to the whole relationship deal with women. Ultimately, all I can say with that is, I'll change this title or whatever. The thing is that a lot of times, a lot of women just don't know how to go with the grain. They don't know how to go with the grain because it's just the way society has been, with the men not being in the household, especially in the Black community, being under assault with all kind of different directions, with and then also having the women assaulting the men and driving them away from the household, ultimately has led women to not be domesticated and socialized to be around men in order to satisfy them, keep them happy, to have them wanting to come home, with a smile on their face as soon as they get in the door. They don't even want to leave. Your man shouldn't, for women out there, man shouldn't even want to leave. He should be like trying to claw and run speed home to see his wife and his kids. And and in the morning he should be like, God damn, I gotta go back to work. I just want to stay. I want to stay home with you. I mean, that actually works. Some couples, that's actually how they started a business. They actually wanted to be around each other. They didn't want to go to work. So they just, put the pedal to the metal and they started a business and they get, been around each other, had more family time and et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, that, if your man actually don't want to come home, that's a sign. You don't want to, he always trying to work because he don't want to be around you nagging at him and arguing with him. It's because you're nagging and you're arguing at him. Women should be quiet. Long time ago, women, even queens and princesses, they were taught to take a vow of basically I forgot the name of it. They were actually basically taught how to be quiet. And when it comes to this whole queen and king thing, I know quite a bit about it. It was very, very much important for a princess to be taught how to be mute, how to be very, very quiet. Because see, here's the thing about a kingdom, right? What you will ultimately say and someone else hear you, some like secret or about the kingdom or the whereabouts of someone or whatever, can ultimately overthrow your kingdom. It can basically cause your kingdom's downfall. What you say and or what someone hears you say. So the less that you actually say, like nobody understands the power of words than a damn king or a queen, you know. And the thing about it is, you know, when it comes to cohabitation with a man, what you say and all of that type of stuff, it's like basically you shouldn't say much at all. Should be very, very quiet. I mean, because the thing about it is, unless you have a relationship and you guys get along, a lot of times, like you got men that they might be more of on the side of toxicity or whatever. It's best to be as quiet as possible if you in that type of relationship. And the thing about it is, this is something that I heard, the thing about it is, when you in a bad relationship, I mean, you already in it, but you got to think about it like this. You can control what you say and do. Even if you're being disrespected or someone's saying something to you, you can actually take the high road. For example, I'll explain what I'm saying. So, Charleston White said something to one of the rappers, Kevin Gates. He said, "You acted different. Is it because someone, whoever, molested you as a child, those things came back?" And both of those guys actually been to prison. Kevin Gates and Charleston White, obviously. And what Kevin Gates did that was different than what most other people that come at Charleston White was say, you know what, I respect you and I love you, brother. Yeah, I'm different now, because of whatever the case may be. And he ain't say nothing but, hey, I am different. I said what I said. I got respect for you. And, Charleston White had to apologize. I probably only heard him apologize maybe 3 or 4 times. And he had to, because he came to a situation where he threw honey, he didn't throw shit at Charleston White. And the thing about it is, that's what I'm talking about. Like, if you basically have, like I say, I'll repeat it again, you have control over what your actions are going to be, even if somebody is in the wrong or saying something to you that's foul or is behaving foul. You have a control response to respond with negativity when they coming at you with negativity, or you have the response of like this. Like, for example, I remember I came on somebody's platform and they were just kind of being kind of, belligerent or whatever. And I said, "Hey, bro, what, I really don't know about you. I don't know about your sign." These are my exact words. I was still learning about different signs, astrological signs. I said, "Did you have like a bad day or something like that at work or whatever?" And it's because it's like, I just took the side of, it must be something because you don't know me. You never seen me in life, but you have all this hate and vitriol from your voice saying something to me. And the bro, he just literally was like, "Man, yeah, man, I had a bad day at work, man. And, you know, I just, just not really, I'm really sensitive about things right now." And most people, what most people would do, you come on their platform, you talk, and they lash out at you or whatever. "Man, you bitch ass motherfucking blah 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 blah." That's what you hear out there yelling and shit like that. Like me, I mean, like I say, you have control over how you gonna respond to somebody, positively or negatively. I mean, yeah, I believe if you come at somebody negatively, sometimes, things can work out positively, like negative times a negative is a positive. But sometimes if you come at somebody positive and they come at you negative, you know, it could really throw a loop for, that other person, and then you can get to some bottom of something. Because see, I went to college for a long time before I got into IT. And I actually was going to be a social worker, a therapist, actually, even. And yeah, I understand when people are, kind of negative, they kind of hide in something that they might be going through. Life might not be going pretty well with them that day or that week or whatever for a long period of time, and they lashing out. And it's like, you got to understand, why are these people lashing out? It's all these beautiful women in the world, you know, flowers, babies, puppies, kittens, and this person is just, lashing out at you. Honey, sugar, you know, the life is not all miserable all the time. Sometimes it is. A lot of times it is. Long periods of times it is. I mean, I'll be the first person to tell you, shit ain't lovely right now for me. But the thing is that, I mean, at the end of the day, like, for example, I mean, I was driving around Evanston, Illinois. I literally, everywhere I was driving, $1 million house, $800,000 house, $900,000 house, $700,000 house, $15 million house, $10 million house, $5 million house. Like, I mean, these big ass mansions, like right off Lakeshore Drive on Lake Michigan. I mean, like, huge, huge mansions. And it's like, you know, the whole world is filled with, all kinds of wonderful things. And yeah, it's some negative stuff too. It's some evil stuff. It's some, rough, savage stuff. Iori's from the Indus Kush Valley, you know, from Pakistan, Bangladesh, India. I mean, you walk through the marsh, big ass tiger come at your motherfucking neck. As beautiful as a tiger is huge. It's bigger than actually a lion. And this thing comes at your back of your neck and just jumps out on you. You just trying to go enjoy the nice jungle marsh inside India, and then a big ass tiger jumps out on you. Or a big ass king cobra, you know, size of a python comes out on your ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all kind of, stuff going on in the world, and all kind of like lions and tigers and bears to look out for, So But at the end of the day, it's a beautiful world as well, you know. And it's like you gotta understand why is this person so negative all the time? There's something to it, you know. And it's like, yeah, you know, you gotta kind of come down to the vantage point of, well, let me just not lash out on everybody that lashes out on me. It's something to why this person is lashing out, you know. Something that ain't right, you know. So you know, the thing is that I know this is a ramble, and I really ain't even talking about other topics, but I was just compelled to put all of this in. I mean, I don't really talk about relationships, but it's just one of those things that I was just definitely talking about. It is definitely self-improvement related. You know, might be reaching somebody with this, you know. The thing is that I think that women can be taught to be socialized. It might be very difficult for them to do so after, you know, after a certain age. But you know, the thing is that it goes into a form of, yeah, I do believe mental illness, or you know, um on the spiritual realm and the mental realm of why a woman can't just sit her ass down, shut the fuck up, do what she know needs to be done. Women know, yeah, I need to cook and clean and this and that. But it's just like this video that and I think this is appropriate. And I think I will play this video. And it's basically this woman basically describing what I'm talking about. You know, she's basically saying that she basically can't really do what's required to be a wife to anyone or be someone's piece, because basically she wasn't socialized to do so. And she doesn't have the dynamic to do so. Not so much she didn't say she wasn't socialized to do that. She was basically saying that because, let me see here if I can share or something like that. Nah, you know what? Because I'm on my cell phone, I'm not really able to do that. But in hindsight, what she was saying is that because, you know, she has two children already, she has to work. She has a lot of other stuff going on in her life. She can't really do much to give no man a peace of mind, to be a man's peace, because she's got kids bothering her, bugging her every 5 minutes. You know, that she has to tend to. She has to work. She has to deal with, you know, her dwelling where she lives. She has to deal with her problems, her children's problems. She has to deal with life. She can't she can't really center and focus on any other person outside of her children and her life and what she's got to deal with some other man. She's basically feisty, nervous, and very bothered. She can't do much as far as feminine, you know, princess, and just kind of, you know, provide everything for her man, because she just doesn't. That's just not how things are set up in her life. You know, her life is chaotic because that's just how she is. That's how her dynamic is, being a single mother with kids and all of the other stuff that she got to deal with that. And she was being very, very honest. And she was saying basically the only thing I can provide is my vessel and my pussy. I mean, you know, and it is really a lot of times basically that's all she said. I mean, a lot of women don't understand that's all they really are good for because they're not able to break out of that. And the thing is that she does it, and I'm gonna go back to the mental and the spiritual. And when I talk about spiritual, it's really metaphysical. She doesn't think that she could do it because in her spirit, in her mental, um, her mentality or whatever, her mental state, she doesn't feel that she can do that. Here's the thing. I'm gonna go back to Sister George. Sister George had that same dynamic. Okay, she had a child already, and she basically somehow or another. I mean, I think she definitely used to listen to BGS from it's been a long time since I used to listen to the whole BGS for women. She was one of his understudies. So basically I'll just say this. That probably helped her understand what she needed to do, and of course probably, any other wisdom that she got. She had the understanding to pick the right guy, and she had the trust to do what was needed to basically go with his dynamic of how he wanted things set up, right? That's all this woman that was, basically talking about this and that as far as how she can't do it. She just doesn't know the right guy to choose to basically, and she probably even has trust issues to basically just give everything that she has to that guy. I'll tell you, for example, I don't even have to use Sister George. My grandmother had 5 children. My grandfather was pretty much dead. She knew that she had to basically find somebody to raise these children, help her out. She was basically working for my now deceased grandfather. And she basically got with him, and basically they got married, and he took on the dynamic of raising these 5 children and taking care of everything. Now, she had to give everything up as far as any other insight and all this other stuff. And it was very difficult for her to do because even my grandmother, being from the silent generation, she was raised in a household with her father. Basically, he came back home when she was like already like a teenager, so she was raised in the same thing like what I was talking about. She was barely socialized with her father in the household, which is my great grandfather. And the thing is that she had issues with the whole marriage dynamic. I mean, my grandfather, my grandmother definitely used to argue a lot. It used to get real serious. But the thing is that she had to do what she had to do. So in another thing is a thing with as far as trust, right? Sometimes in my grandmother's state of affairs, it wasn't necessarily even a trust thing. It was, I got to do this. This is the best option. This man is an up and coming entrepreneur. He's able to provide more than probably what the average man was able to provide. And the only other alternative is basically poverty, or I have to, get a job and then try to do better for myself, which he was ultimately already doing, but and still struggling. And I just get with this guy, and then I have to deal with his, yelling and screaming at me, and like a drill sergeant every time I don't, do the right thing or whatever. and I have to, cook for this man. I have to take care of this man, and that was the only move that she had. That was the best move that she had, and she had to do it. A lot of women, even if they have to do some shit, I'm gonna tell you how a lot of women, and I see this a lot. I even see this from my own family members. They would rather live in poverty. I'll repeat that again. They would rather live in poverty on welfare and subsidized housing than actually do it the make their best move you know uh their next move, their best move, which means get the best suitor that they could possibly get to take care of them and their children. They would rather live in just abject poverty than to just take that suitor that's trying to help them out. That obviously, yeah, they want some pussy. They want that in-house pussy, and they want to, cook some eggs, cook some breakfast, cook some, what I'm saying? They want the, you know, what most men want, And the thing is that you have a lot of women, they'll just choose poverty with government, basically you know, uh welfare or whatever over an actual like middle class existence. But here's the thing, here's the deal. And of course is let's go down the rabbit hole of basically welfare or the wealth, let's just say the welfare state. A lot of times women will live a middle class. They don't have to. It used to be like my grandmother's time in the 60s and the 50s. If you didn't have a man or whatever to help you out, or whatever, the welfare back then was actual poverty. Literally, don't the New Deal was still, even if you had the New Deal was actually that instead of you just eating out the garbage can, you can get, some food. You can get, a house in the projects, right? Nowadays, the woman nowadays that chooses those options of basically welfare, she's living a middle class life. I mean, like literally a middle class life. So it's really a hard. It's not. It's kind of a easier transition, but ultimately, I'll say this. Yeah, you got some food stamp queens, and what I mean by food stamp queens is that you got women that actually are getting welfare, and they make $100,000 a year. You you like broke jeans, you bullshit. No, I'm not. You got women that do hair and nails, and then they got the new eyelash craze, which is absolutely retarded. They making $100,000 a year, and they basically system D, unreported income basically, and they make off the table $100,000 a year cash, and they getting everything like the the food stamps and Section 8. The bullshit you not. You know, even watching children, being a babysitter, you can make probably what 30 to 50 grand just extra cash just being a babysitter. So it's like, yeah, it just very much that actual being able to, and then BGS talked about this in the whole Monahan thing. It's actually a more of a easier or a hard sale to be like, okay, I can provide for you, so where you don't have to worry about Section 8 and that's all this other stuff, right? Because I'm gonna keep it 100. I'm gonna embarrass myself a little bit. I actually told my ex-wife that. I said, you don't need to. She was about to get Section 8. She was about to go. She was basically going toward the path of what I'm talking about. where she was just gonna get Section 8 and welfare and all that. I said, you know what, you don't need that. I'll basically step in and take Uncle Sam's job. I didn't say it like that verbatim, but basically that was what the deal that I offered. She was smart enough to take my deal, for the longest I could endure with it. But the thing is that literally that was what route she was going. She was gonna go get Section 8 and have children and all that. I mean, she already had children, and that was what she was gonna do. But the thing is that that sale, most women, they not taking no dude, the trust of a dude versus the trust of the government. They're gonna take that government Section 8, that welfare, work their little job, retail job, or how many burgers do you want, or you want to upsize it, you want to add fries to it, do that job, and then get their Section 8, get the link card, $500 a month, and yeah, they gonna take that. They're not gonna take a guy basically that's just basically offering them a middle class lifestyle versus they just have a lower middle class lifestyle. Or even you got some women, like I say, they get welfare and they making over $100,000 a year off the books, or even 50,000, because they already living a $50,000 lifestyle with Section 8 and all of that. So they got 50,000 extra cash, right? Doing hair, nails, makeup. I mean, basically, they making more than what a potential male suitor would be offering. So you literally got male suitors competing with the government for Straggs, and the Straggs like, I ain't trying to reform. I ain't trying to be no prime woman. I'm gonna just get this government money and just sit my ass down, make me some money off the books, or even not so off the books. Just do whatever I can to keep getting this money coming every month from Section 8 and that $500 link card. They ain't trying to get nobody to be with them and trying to get off of those government subsidies. Because the thing about it is, yeah, it takes a certain level of trust to trust somebody else, versus the government. So it's a hard sale now versus, like I say, back in the 70s, 60s, even the 80s, even the early 80s. If you was on welfare, you was poor. It wasn't no you living a middle class life and you get Section 8 and a link card. You were living in the projects. You was living in subsidized housing. I mean, even though there's still people that live that way now, but yes, yeah, people that, I kid you not, where I am actually trying to move since I've been in high school. I wanted to live in a particular town. I don't want to give it away because I don't want you motherfuckers still taking my dreams. But the thing is that it's people that live there now. They got a Section 8 voucher, an upper class community, because they got a Section 8 voucher. I kid you not, I cannot make it up. And they ain't not living in an apartment. They living in one of them houses. In the same upper class community that I'm trying to rebuild my credit so I can get a mortgage, they already there with their Section 8 voucher. So, like I say, times have changed, and like I say, it's a hard sale for a woman to be like, you know what, I'm gonna put trust aside, knowing this man could kick my ass out because I know I talk shit, and I know I can't sit my ass down nowhere and shut the hell up. I always gotta speak my mind and say whatever I want to say because I know I ain't got no consequences and I can call the police whenever shit go real left, you know. I.e. Danny Lee, uh, the baby situation. Just say whatever's on my mind because there's no repercussions. We not in Pakistan. We in the United States. So I could just call the police and then talk to them like shit. They ain't gonna arrest me or nothing either. So yeah, I mean, they don't, you got some women that they're not able to take their dynamic because they know they're gonna be either kicked out, and they got trust issues because they don't think the man is competent enough to take care of everything. So it's just um a double-edged sword. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get my passport though. Definitely gonna get my passport. Like I say, I mean, probably I'm pretty much on schedule, pretty much on schedule. So probably hopefully I'm gonna be over schedule because like I say, I'm not trying to make the bare minimum. I'm trying to be a millionaire tomorrow, you know. So the thing is that um I'm definitely like I say, gonna get my passport, no doubt. You know what I'm saying? Whatever I gotta do, if I gotta go, you know, uh, whoever's in the White House, if I gotta go talk to them so I can get my passport so I can leave the plantation, I'm gonna do it, you know. But yeah, the thing is that, like I say, um, you know, a lot of the women just they got trust issues, and they can't take that dynamic of put in my grandmother. Definitely she did the same thing Sister George used to do, or does, or whatever. She used to work because my grandparents had a liquor store and they had a pharmacy, they had a laundromat. When all of that stuff folded, my grandmother had to go work, and when she got paid, she gave the money to my grandfather because he had to pay the taxes, the mortgage, and everything. So she definitely did the same thing. You know, I mean, I just went by there, shoveled the snow just last weekend. So I mean, the thing is that you know, it is women out there that they understand and they get it. They understand. What needs to be done, even if it's a situation that it needs to be done. They get it. It's not necessarily a trust thing; it's a survival thing. They gotta do the right thing, and that's the move. So I've said enough. You know, the thing is that it's definitely self-improvement related. Definitely self-improvement related. Um, and at the end of the day, if you got the bread, I know it's Omarion or Mamacron or Decepticons, all these crons and shit going on, and definitely if you I'll have to say this again in the guise of self-improvement, America, you need to self-improve your immune system. Definitely need to self-improve your immune system. And one of my startups is definitely Al's Herbs. You play this video real quick. Come check out alsherbs.com, where we have all of your herbal needs and different variety of products, from sea moss to black seed oil, and a different variety of products for different health issues, because your health is your wealth. So yeah, I mean, what they're not telling you is that you can take, shout out to I gotta bring Iori and Basically the Indus. I got to bring back the Indus Kush Valley again. I mean, basically, it's a certain type of medical practice goes back 10,000 years. It's called Ariatic um, medicine, and basically they have tonics and basically herbs that have been curing people for tens of thousands of years. Okay, I mean, just recently in the like 1600s and 1500s, they used to have the spice wars. They used to go to war over herbs. Okay, it was a big deal. It was enough that people literally went to war. They used to have pirate ship battles, naval battles over spices. Okay, and the thing about it is, yeah, I'm not against pharmaceuticals. Okay, the thing is that I have come to for years, and definitely I take my own products as well. I come to understand that, yeah, um, rebuilding your immune system and also strengthening your immune system is going to just fight off of anything, including freaking the Amari Cron or whatever, Omicron or Decepticon, uh Optimus Prime. All of these other primes they come out with and crons and shit. I mean, your immune system, that's basically your line of defense. Taking certain herbs. Of course, I mentioned black seed oil. Let me tell you something that I was told, and it's pretty much about black seed oil. Black seed oil cures damn near everything except death. Black seed oil by itself. Okay. The thing about it is, I have that infused into a lot of my products. Basically, my detox has black seed oil in it, and as well as my all herbs product. Pretty much my all herbs is all of my entire herbal catalog, except the sleeping pills, because basically I'm not trying to have you take all of my herbs in the morning, and then it's got the sleeping herbs in there, and then you going to work, and then you next thing you know, you waking up in the ditch because I don't put the knockout in there. No, I don't. I basically give you a sample of all of my herbs except my knockout, because I ain't trying to have you go to sleep, because my stuff actually works. my when you take that knockout, take about two of them. After about an hour or two, you wake up and the sun's coming up. You like, damn, I didn't even know I went to sleep. That shit actually works. So the thing is that yeah, your immune system definitely uh you need to boost that up as fast as you can. Even if you don't want to buy any herbs from me, basically get you some tea, get some black tea, put some garlic in it, put a little apple cider vinegar in it. You'll be stronger than a Brahma bull. That's a freebie, free 99 for you. You know, um, that will definitely help. So I've said enough, and it's definitely had a lot to say, and hopefully somebody will, get this message.
Message. Boy, just be yourself. If people don't like it if you're being yourself, fuck them. Message.